way I got inspired to do this documentary was that when Jupiter came around for the third time, it always happens when you're 35, you have the Jupiter return. And it's kind of like a solar return or a new moon for the year, like a new moon in your first house, but it's for the next 12 years. So usually a vision will come. Jupiter has the visionary power, and especially in its ancient rulership of Pisces, the sign of the mystic, the visionary, the poet. And I guess in modern times it would be the filmmaker too. And so I got the vision of doing this documentary during that Jupiter conjunction, and Mars came by too. So it's Jupiter, Mars on my Jupiter, Mars, and Neptune in the 12th house. Spiritual visions and imagination. And I was thinking about The Secret, and I was thinking about documentaries, and I had been doing film for 2 years, working on a film in Asheville called Moon Europa. I was an extra, but I was also over there like learning everything from all the professionals, you know, and asking them questions and picking their brains. And I took some filmmaking classes. I had a little bitty camera just gifted to me right when Neptune hit my sun sign 2 years ago.
Wow.
In Aquarius. And then suddenly Jupiter came to my ascendant, and it was time for action. I couldn't dream about it anymore in the 12th house. I said, I mapped it all out with notebooks, and I just said, it's time to do it. So I just took the leap of faith, got all the equipment, and went to my first astrology conference, well, not my first, but my first astrology conference in lieu of the video. And I basically started talking to astrologers and saying, can I interview you? And everybody was really wide open about it. And next thing you know, I came home from the NCGR conference in Baltimore, Maryland. And I was just like so enthused and so fired up because I got 19 hours of video and this new high definition camera. And I was just like, yes, it's going to happen. And then Moses, you know, the blast, wanted me to film the blast. And so, you know, by the time I'm done, I'll have 60 hours of video, including the storytelling elements, the screenplay I'm writing. And I have to compress it down to 2 hours. But there's going to be a website for that.
What do you think about the 2012?
2012 is a great date. You know, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have the big, you know, Pluto's going into Capricorn, and we saw with the transformation of religion in Sagittarius and our visions crossing the galactic center. It's going to be the same thing with structures and powers that be. So governments, their shadow side is going to have to be faced with abuse of power. Pluto just comes along and says, how have you been handling your power? If you've been handling it responsibly, it empowers you even further, gives you more wealth. Pluto means wealth in Greek. And so when Pluto comes along, it says, I'm here to empower you, but if you haven't been using your power responsibly, it has to destroy you and rebirth you and transform you and make you rise out of the ashes. So it's sort of like it faces you with a divine will and says, you know, you have to take responsibility for your actions, and it usually brings a lot of change. So changes in structures, with Uranus going into Aries, it's going to be very volatile, because basically the 60s generation that came in with Uranus conjunct Pluto and Virgo, you know, as it's been unfolding, it's coming to a square. So we're going to see the 60s kids, they were born with that generation. We're going to see them come into their empowerment. The square is about conflict for growth, passion, and individuation, which is the Jungian word for be true to your own unique path. Don't live according to what the world's saying is important. The big house, success, all that stuff. Live according to your dreams. You know, like this documentary is a dream of mine. I want to pursue it. You know, and common sense says, oh, you're going to go make a documentary? I'm like, it's a vision. I gotta live according to it, you know. I wouldn't feel right in my soul if I didn't follow my dream. So if I can introduce a new model of success based on following your chart and living your spiritual gifts that the divine has given you, that are reflective right in the chart, and then following the cycles and knowing when those moments are activated and then going for it, taking action, courage through action. To me, as we're standing here, the sun just set, it's in Aries, the sign of courage through action. You know, it's like seize the day, you know. And then Saturn's over in Leo saying get disciplined about creativity through dramatic performance. So you got creativity and action coming together, which creates the third point over in Sagittarius, the mutable sign of meaning, right? So meaning emerges from creative action. And Sagittarius to me is the principle of faith through divine inspiration. So it's moments like this where you step out. And you step out your door and you embrace the unknown. That's what Scorpio's about. Scorpio's about making a friend with the unknown and being able to bridge it. I actually wrote my first poem after going through a really intense experience down in Key West, a scorpionic rebirth, a divorce, change, all of the boards. And I was sitting out looking out over the ocean and I was heartbroken, and I wrote this poem called Engaging the Infinite, and it sums up how I approach astrology. It goes, above the wavering sea, stars await your return, mirrored across the deep span stretching within. The curving space between here and there is endless, yet it seems like you've been abandoned in the emptiness. You can never stop the flow of dark imagery coursing through your heart. Those chambers of guilt and fear always struggle to contain the tingling fire dancing as your soul. It hurts to be free, it hurts to be free. But when you step into your passion, the whole universe awakens within, and others may wander with black holes for hearts, devouring your visions with their fears. But tell me, how old are you? That's not your age. It's simply the number of orbits you made around this star. You've made many orbits around other stars, like a timeless electron zipping around an atomic nucleus. You are infinite, and if you argue for your limitations, you have to fight them. But if you discover your possibilities, you get to create them. So stand still, gaze at the sky, sense the awe, the reverence rising inside, and know that your being, your aliveness, is an extension of eternity. So that's kind of like my guiding poem for this life now. Living
great.
at the edge, you know, passionately embracing your projects, you know.
That's great.